This is your Daily 5 for Thursday, April 23rd, 2026. As I'm sure you're already aware, because news like this travels no matter what, you'll probably have heard some version of it, even if it's a brief one. But the current CEO of Apple, Tim Cook, is stepping down, and the individual that many people had assumed would be the next CEO, John Ternus, is going to take over, I believe, at the end of the year. I'm not even sure on what the timing is. It doesn't really matter. But the thing that's interesting about this story and the way many people are talking about it is there are all these articles, there's all this discussion about, what does this mean for Apple? And what's the next era going to be like when a product person is in charge, and what things are going to be different? And I've seen articles that, now affordability is going to be back in. And then another article saying, no, now we're going to see hardware innovations and it's going to be the next golden age and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And look, I don't have any idea what Apple's plans are. Obviously, nobody except the people inside of Apple at the very top know what Apple's plans are or what the direction of the company's going to be. And this is not going to be a very sudden thing, because clearly these discussions will have been going on for months. This announcement does not come out of nowhere, because unless Tim Cook is lying, he says he is healthy, he is going to go into a new role, and he's going to be there for a while. Now, when you hear things like that, what that indicates is that they've been planning for this and gearing towards it, and having their discussions and setting strategic directions for a while now. The difference now, and what is going to be different for Apple, really has nothing to do with the company. It's really the environment around the company and outside of the company. Because as much as Apple likes to project itself as something exceptional and different and unique and special, the reality is, at the end of the day, it is still a business in a country that values wealth and growth and stock share and shareholder satisfaction. Those things are not really stuff that this company can control. Those factors will bounce all over the place. As we've seen, the change of an administration can wildly recalibrate what a company is doing. Many of the things that people have actually been criticizing Tim Cook about recently, in terms of his capitulation to Donald Trump. Now, look, outside of whatever you may think of that, and certainly I'm not going to sit here and tell you I think it was a good thing, it does make a sense as somebody who is the head of a company with a lot of employees to keep that company from being financially punished. Now, the counter argument, of course, is that if any company could survive such punishment, it would be Apple. But in reality, it does reveal that unlike, and this is the thing, is people still think of Apple as if it was Steve Jobs just coming back, when the company was in a position where it had nothing left to lose except itself as a company, and therefore could really take big chances. Those days have been long over for quite a while, and yet people still have this idea of Apple as this independent entity that can do risky things and take chances and don't get me wrong, the company certainly can. It has the capability of it. But I don't think it's anywhere near in a position where it would ever do such a thing again, because it is far too comfortable. It makes too much money. It's too dominant of a company in terms of its position in the market. And it's not going to risk that, because in the end, the people inside the company actually do not control it. This is the great myth that, I've used myth a lot this week, I think. The last couple of weeks, I'm using the word myth a lot. This is the great misconception, better word, about how companies operate, at least in the United States, and I would assume anywhere where there is a capitalist system in place, is the companies at a certain point no longer really control themselves. And if you don't know how that can be true, look up a board takeover. Look up people being voted out by upset shareholders. Look how companies will move if the market says you have to move in this direction. AI, if nothing else, has been a very revealing indicator of the fact that markets will move you even if you don't want to move in the direction that they're telling you to go in. And so I don't know what John Ternus will do as the CEO of Apple. I don't know whether he'll be good or bad. I assume he's not going to be terrible. It sounds like Apple has a pretty laid out ascension process where they're not going to put somebody in place who's going to tank the company. But I also think that the expectation that there's going to be big changes, I don't know. I don't think they're going to be as big as people think they are, because, again, Apple really doesn't control its own destiny in the way that many people seem to think it does. Outside of, yes, they'll have new designs for their laptops. They may come out with a new product line, that type of thing. But they're not going to do things that will upset the market. And once you get to that point as a company, once the market actually runs your company, well, they're not really in charge of it anymore. You're just trying to make sure it points in the right direction that the market says it should. Later.